Talking college sports in the Deep South, where college football is king and the battle cry is War Eagle. Once again, it's K2 to go for Vernon Speak Sports. We're talking Auburn football nonstop like nobody else's business. Fearless and true gang, let's go ahead and get really active in the comment section. We're talking Auburn football all the time. War Eagle. We want to think the SEC conference is arguably one of the best, having so many guys in the NFL, especially this year, including 6 players coming out of Auburn. War Eagle. Now, during the course of the offseason, Joey Gatewood has been compared to, on numerous occasions, to Cam Newton. Now, we all remember from back in 2010, and current Carolina Panther quarterback also made a Super Bowl appearance, was the Heisman Trophy winner in 2010 for the Auburn Tigers, led the Auburn Tigers at the quarterback position to the first national championship in 2010 since 1957. Of course, there were some opportunities beforehand for the Auburn Tigers, being left out in 2004, and because of probation back in 1993, were not able to be eligible, in a sense, for that undefeated miracle season as well back in the day. So when I think about this, I think about the players who are doing the comparisons, which I think, it's easy to say, okay, we compare Joey Gatewood to Cam Newton. Now, I'm not discounting Joey Gatewood's skill set. I'm not discounting his ability. He looks great on film. They are both, comparatively speaking, the same size. So skill set and all the other attributes in this particular video is not up for debate. I think Joey Gatewood, given the opportunity, could post some of the numbers that Cam Newton was able to post as an Auburn Tiger and Heisman Trophy winner. My only caveat to that is we don't want Joey Gatewood to have to do what Cam Newton had to do. We don't want him to have to do that. We don't want him to have to lead the team in rushing and passing for 8 out of 14 games. That's not what you want out of your quarterback going into the 2019 season, especially when you talk about a starting quarterback. A first-year starting quarterback. Now, Cam Newton was a first-year starting quarterback, but that was different. He had some experience in the junior college ranks at Blinn College, but you talk about going into the Evercare Classic and some of the high-consequence games in the SEC this season, you don't want to be asked to do what Cam Newton was asked to do. If you think about Cam Newton during the 2010 season, rushing for well over 1,400 yards, some games, like I said before, he had more rushing yards than passing. Now, it started to slow down during the stretch of the seasons as teams started to make the adjustments. And honestly, I think Cam Newton was a little nicked up down the stretch. In the Alabama game, we're talking about only 39 yards running. In the South Carolina game, only 74 yards running. So, and after that point, he was starting to not have the achievement of being leading rusher in a lot of those games. So the hits start to add up. You're talking about 200, 181, and all of those different types of yardages in SEC play. Those things add up. And when we talk about the comparisons, yes, I believe from a physicality standpoint, both of these guys could be synonymous. My only issue, like I said before, Auburn does not want a situation where Joey Gatewood, or any of the quarterbacks for that matter, have to run the football in order for Auburn to win, or at least run the football on a high level in order for Auburn to win. Here's my case scenario. When I look at the quarterback from a dual threat standpoint for the Auburn Tigers, what I'm mainly looking at is a guy who could help Auburn out, supplement the running game. You need to be a supplement to the running game. You don't need to be the running game. Okay? So when we talk about the run-pass option, I feel, especially as it relates to Auburn this year, I feel that there's so many skilled players that it's so much different than what Cam Newton had access to in 2010. If Cam Newton had a Anthony Schwartz or a Seth Williams or a Sal Cannella, I don't think he would have had to run for 1,400 yards during his tenure at Auburn. So when we look at this, yes, I applaud his teammates for thinking, for Joey Gatewood's teammates for thinking as highly as they do, you know, in comparison to Cam Newton. But in a sense, Cam Newton honestly should not have had to do what he had to do to win the Heisman Trophy award. I mean, you're talking 1,400 yards. That's a lot of miles in the SEC. You're talking about a lot of miles against LSU, against Mississippi State. Started to add up as you get down to Georgia and to Alabama. And you could clearly tell, even in the Oregon game, that, you know, it was starting to add up from a running standpoint, starting to get a little stiff down the stretch. That's not what we want out of the quarterback. We want a quarterback who, like I said before, can supplement the running game. Very effective passing the ball, because, I mean, all the quarterbacks have shown in some degree that they are effective making most passes. Of course, in the spring game, Joey Gatewood showed a little deficiency with the deep route on a lot of occasions. But, you know, we don't know what exactly was the outcomes in practice. So either way, like I said before, we love the fact that Joey Gatewood is being compared to Cam Newton. That is great. But in my opinion, guys, we do not, absolutely do not want the quarterback for 2019 to have to do what Cam Newton had to do, or Nick Marshall had to do. You know, those guys had to do those things to basically catalyze the offense. We would like to think that Auburn has enough skilled players around to where this doesn't have to happen this year. Once again, it's K-Stu the GOAT for Vernon Speaks Sports. Go ahead and like the video, comment. Make sure you get active in the comment section. It's got a lot of useful information in the comment section. As a matter of fact, a couple of players' parents I found have been in the comment section. Big War Eagle to them. Go ahead and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. War Eagle.